You know how it is. I think we're going. Let me just close this once it's live. Okay, close this down. Visual setups. Quit that. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, I can't. I've got Kate. It's me and you. We're together.
We are.
Togetherness. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Hold on.
It is. It is. We were talking Wednesday, wasn't it? We were talking about everything comes down to connection, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. That was Wednesday, wasn't it? Yeah. That was a really, really good meeting we had. I learned so much from you that day. Well, maybe we'll talk about it today.
Yeah, could do.
We could talk about it. Hold on. I've got a birthday thing going on my Facebook. I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that, do I? No. Okay, post. Let's do that. Oh, it's nearly there. We're nearly there. We're getting closer. Oh, it's getting closer. Here we go. Paste. Continue. Publish. Hold on, posted. Right. We're together.
We're here.
Good morning, love.
Good morning.
Oh, I did my little motivational minute this morning about saying that it was me and you talking about voice. So anyone that's watching, good flipping morning. Yes, it is. It's Friday. It's the weekend. And what better than to see this beautiful girl's face? And I'm talking about Kate, obviously. Of course. Because today we are talking about voice. And on Wednesday, like me and Kate and Aidan and Linda, we all had a chat and we were talking about all different things, weren't we? And Kate was did this technique, which was bentoism. Flipping brilliant it was. It's a big insight. We might even go through it today. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the flow goes. We are the flipping flow. So today, to start things off on this Friday, voice. So voice is obviously such a massive part of my life. It's flipping huge, isn't it? And we have so many voices. And not only do I use my own voice externally all the time as a speaker, as a singer, and I teach as well. I teach my pupils. I see a lot of people come to me and they're holding their voice back and there's something stopping them. And it's almost like the voice is almost an extension of who we are as a person as well. You know, so to release their voice, sometimes we have to go back and do inner work to find out when it wasn't a problem. And I use my NLP so much in my teaching as well, because it's so powerful. And we normally go back, so maybe it's a fear of performing, or maybe it's something that's happened when they were a kid and they were singing and someone bullied them, or, you know, someone said that they couldn't sing, or, you know, that it's just an inbuilt fear that they've just grown up with this in the back of their head and they love singing, but they're scared to, or, you know, they're scared to just let go and release. And as soon as we clear that blockage and go back to it and reframe it and look through the other person's eyes, and realize that it was their problem, not their own problem. It was the person that was saying it. You know, maybe it was jealousy, maybe it was fear, maybe it was just that they were having a bad day and they just took it out on this person. So as soon as you go back to that point, reframe it, it's flipping incredible what comes out. You know, it's like a release. And not only is it a physical release, it's a mental release. And it's just a beautiful thing. And when we're ill as well, it can, well, for me in particular, because obviously I've got hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's, as have you. Togetherness, Kate, togetherness. So it's true, but it affected my voice so badly when I was going through my worst stages, and it was kind of a culmination of things that it made me feel like, because obviously I use my voice as a speaker and also as a singer. But there was a point where I couldn't even read Ethan a bedtime story because every word that I spoke felt like a razor blade to my voice, like to my throat. And the pain was incredible. And until I went back and I released all of those things. Do you remember? I think I did it with you, Kate.
Yeah, we did that in our training. We did some work on that, didn't we? Yeah.
You helped me. You've always helped me, Kate, to be fair.
This woman, each other, darling.
No, I'm telling you what, anyone that's watching this, anyone that like this, Kate is an incredible therapist, right? Seriously. So check out Kate. I have to say, she's helped me incredibly throughout the years as well. So voice, as I say, it's an extension, and it's not only your outer voice, it's your inner voice, because that is equally, if not even more powerful than your outer voice, because the words that we speak and the words that we say out loud, the most important words that you will ever hear are the ones that you tell yourself, always. So what we need to do is speak to ourselves as if we're our own best friend, in a nice, positive, calming way. And there's so many different, you know, frequencies and vibration that our voice brings. And God, it's a multitude of things, isn't it, Kate? It is a multitude of things. So yeah, what do you think? Voice to you. Let's chat. Because otherwise I just talk.
Well, because the reason I thought about doing voice for this chat was, one, because it's like, it is your world really, and there's just so much that you can bring to this discussion. But I think I was working with somebody recently, and we were just talking, and then they wanted to say something and they just choked up. They just couldn't say it. And part of it was, I think, the feeling of, and we all feel this, don't we? When there's a strong emotion and we kind of swallow it down, we don't want to feel it. And it's like, if you speak it, you're going to feel it. So I don't want to say the words, because then I'm going to feel the feeling. And our voice is just so linked to how we feel.
Yeah.
And that sort of really brought it up for me. And I was thinking, because for me, when I think about voice, there's that whole bit of expressing yourself, like speaking what's true for you and what your needs are, you know, and things like creating boundaries, you know, saying no to people. You know, that can be very hard for people to do, that speaking that, just that simple word, because there's so much around it, and in our heads and in our bodies too. And so it's this whole thing of how the voice is linked so closely to the way we feel. And when you talk about Hashimoto's, which is this autoimmune disease of the thyroid, which is basically your body is attacking your own thyroid, seeing it as the enemy. And my belief with that is, it's kind of like all autoimmune things are like you're beating yourself up. Your body is beating itself up, and it's got to be linked to the way we feel. I mean, our bodies and our voice in our throat and our feelings are linked, and so all our diseases, I think, are linked to the way we feel too. And it's like a process, isn't it? It's like a reverse loop thing, where our bodies affect the way we feel, and the way we feel affect our bodies. And the way we speak our feelings, and the way we speak our needs, and the way we speak about ourselves, as you were saying, and then all of that is this verbal thing. But then what are these voices inside as well? I mean, I think the biggest thing that when I breakthrough I ever had with all our NLP training, when we did that, was when me and my inner critic. And I was like, I don't know if you remember, Danielle, but I went up on the stage, and I was like and the trainer worked with me on these parts of me. And I thought it was just this simple thing I was working on, these just two parts of me that are in conflict. And then my inner critic weighed in as well.
Yeah.
And we worked on her, and blimey. And when she finally got it and realized that what she was doing was harming me, and she came back over onto my side and became my best friend, that was like the most amazing thing. I mean, I was like walking on clouds for the rest of the day. I was quite spaced out, actually. It was really weird. All this energy was released, the amount of energy that had been held, just keeping her going. I think she was just taking all my energy, you know, not just by the fact that she existed, she was taking a lot of energy, but also how she was depleting mine.
That's right.
By constantly wearing me down. Yeah. So all of these ways, and I think, yes, we can help people, because we've all been trained in this. One, because we've been through it now, so we know how to do it because we've been through it, guys. So and then, not to say we're perfect, because there's another layer always underneath. We're always working on something.
Of course.
Because I think that's part of life, isn't it? It's not like nobody's going to get all this stuff sorted. I think it just is just part of life. You're just taking layers and looking at different aspects of yourself and getting more and more understanding and more connection with yourself. Because Because when you're talking about singing, Danielle, I don't know if it's true for you, but I imagine that it is a kind of connection, isn't it? Singing.
Of course.
You're connecting with yourself and putting yourself out there, and you're connecting with others through your singing.
Of course.
There's so much with it. And I guess, to me, the sort of secret of life and happiness and well-being, all of those things is all about connection, whether it's connection between others, or nature, or just with yourself. And I say just with yourself, I think it all starts there.
Connection is massive for me. And funny enough, I had a client yesterday, and she was serious anxiety, and she was manifesting in her body, in her heart area, and then we cleared that and into her gut as well. And it was what we did was, the heart area was like a red block. And so we changed the colour, and we changed the shape turned into a nice pink, swishy, little airy thing. And then it was in her gut, and it was like a fireball, spitting. But in both of those areas, we went down into it and asked what the voice was saying in there. Because those blocks, those physical manifestation of blocks there and in your gut, they're telling you a message. It's giving you a message that you cannot ignore. That is it. And the more you're ignoring it, the bigger it's getting. And as soon as you just kind of go, right, remember what you said on Wednesday, actually, and you said about the driving seat, and it can come along for the ride, but you are the driver. And I said that to her yesterday, because she said, look, it's there. As soon as I wake up, I'm happy. And then all of a sudden it would just trigger. And I'm like, okay, so when you see it, instead of pushing it away, talk to it and say, I know you're there. I understand you're there. I understand you have a message for me. I'm listening, but I'm in the driving seat, and you can come along for the ride. You can come, you're sitting there, you're in the passenger seat, and you're there. I'm very aware you're there, and I'm listening, but I'm in charge. I'm in control. I've got the steering wheel. I've got the controls of the volume. I can do all this. And she was like, it seems calmer. She goes, yeah, I feel like I'm more in control. And honestly, the whole thing, she came in from being in an absolute, oh, bless her heart. She was just like that, you know. And by the end of it, she said, as she was walking, she goes, I feel like a different person. And that's in one session, Kate. Just from listening, because it was a physical thing, and she had to go back and fix the thing that it was telling her. And it was quite an intense, timeline technique session. And we went right back, and we dealt with a few things. And but oh my God, it was just like she changed. She was smiling, and she just felt like this weight had come off her, and it was magic. And there was no fire burning them, it was just flickering here and there. And I was like, that's okay. It can flicker, and eventually it might just fizzle out. And I also said as well, I said, our bodies, because it was a fireball. I said, we're made up of water. That's who we are. 90% of us is water. I said, so how about redirecting some of that water and putting out that fire? Might want to do that. And we did. And it was just like I loved every second of it, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, it's great, isn't it? When you can get that sort of reaction so quickly with somebody, which is what these techniques do, isn't it? So, and yet she's the same person as when she walked in. Exactly the same. It's purely just a switch, changing something, or the way you interpret something, or an expectation you have of yourself, or just a perspective, like you say. It's just looking at something in a different way and saying, well, actually, maybe it doesn't mean that doesn't mean this, and you're just changing the meaning. And
listening to it, listening to that voice. Absolutely. Because the voice has got a message, and it's telling everything that's happening to us or in us is speaking, just shouting at us, saying, listen to me. And
it's like an alarm, isn't it?
Yeah.
An alarm. If the engine light comes on your car, you don't just ignore it and keep driving. You go to a garage and sort it out.
That's
don't
right.
you? Or your petrol light, you don't just say, oh no, it'll be fine, because at some point it's gonna stop you in your tracks, and it's just gonna get so bad that either it turns into some sort of physical pain or illness or something, or it'd be a mental, emotional thing. And we know that all of this stuff is just there to help us. Even like my inner critic, she was just there to help me. She thought she was helping me, she really did. And so she was, and because I wasn't listening to her, I said, I don't want to listen to this. I'd go away. I don't want to hear this nasty crap that she was giving me all the time. And even if I was in a good mood, she would bring me down. She would say, oh yeah, but, you know, and then there would all be all of the negative stuff. And I'd been living with that for, I don't know how many decades.
Oh.
And just, but she had a message for me that I wasn't listening. And as soon as I got that from her, and she realized that actually what she was saying wasn't really helping me in the way she thought she might be, that it all changed. And yeah, I was the same person. I walked in, I walked out. You say, I feel like a different person, because kind of like you are, because that person isn't driving anymore.
No.
You're back driving. Yeah. And so those voices, and it's like you say, the body is like any pain you've got, that's a voice, isn't it? It's your body speaking. Your body hasn't got words. So give you pain instead.
I think it's so flipping powerful. And the more we ignore it, the stronger it gets. And the secret is just to listen, like really listen. And in life as well, you know, there's so much noise all around us, but we can choose what we tune into. We can choose the frequency of what we want to listen to. And if there's a lot of negativity, it'll be kind of a one frequency, but we can choose to listen to a higher frequency, like a radio. Turn the switch, flipping, tune in to what you want to become, tune in to what you want to hear, because our minds delete, distort, generalize. That's what we're taught. You know, our brains delete stuff. You know, there's a million things going on, but we don't see everything. We just see a very small fraction of what's going on, although it's all taken in our subconscious. It's taken in, you know, and they can distort things. You can look at a situation and just see something completely different to what someone else is seeing, just because of maybe the past, like what you've been through, and you're putting that onto this thing that you're going through, or just because your own insecurities can do that too. And we can generalize as well. So we, you know, oh, that must be that because of that. You know, so all of this
always does that, or you always do this, or
yeah, exactly. So it's being very mindful of the fact that because we can do that, how about choosing to listen to the parts that we want to listen to rather than the parts that we think we should? And just by changing that vibration, the whole of our lives and the whole of our outlooks and the whole of our words can change. And it's so powerful. The frequency, the vibration that we are giving out through our voices, you know, like when we're using tones and volumes and, you know, shouting or, you know, whispering, you know, it's so powerful, because you can hear someone very clearly when they whisper, but when someone's shouting, you may not hear anything at all. It's blocking it out. So it's really, really, God, our voices are so important.
Yeah, it's just something you said then about shouting as well, because that was really, that came up for us, because Ron and I do a lot of work on our house. We're slowly renovating our house into a habitable space. And we had this thing where there was, Ron noticed that when he shouts, it makes him angry. It's like, because when you're angry, you shout. He noticed it happened the other way around. So when he was shouting for me, because he couldn't hear him, you know, above the cement mixer or something, then that would make him angry. Just the act of shouting.
Oh,
so there's this whole feedback thing again. So the way we speak, it's not just the words we use, but the tone that you say and the volume we use can affect the way we feel.
Yeah, wouldn't it be funny actually? Just, you know what's just sprung to me? Wouldn't it be funny if you're having an argument with someone? Although I don't really tend to argue, I just let people get on with it because that's theirs. It's not mine. They can stick with that energy. But say if you're having an argument and you just turned around and all your answers you just sang to them. So like, I don't like you. I don't believe what you're saying. Can you imagine? Like the argument would very quickly dissipate, because you can't argue when you're bringing out positive vibrations. You just can't. It's like, and having the physiology of yourself, like with a smile on your face, saying everything that you're going to say. You can still say it, release it. But how about saying it through song or saying it through whisper? Do you know what? I just don't think that really makes sense, don't you know? Do you know what you're talking about?
You just end up laughing, won't you? Which is all you need, really.
Do you know what? Isn't it just?
I remember that when we were doing, when we were in our training, and we were doing about saying the words, but just in a different accent.
Oh, yes.
And so suddenly just try to say it with a Welsh accent or something, and and I can't do Welsh, so as soon as you even try that, then it just makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Or I think I was doing it with somebody, and I was saying, say it in the way that you would do it if it was in Wales song. They were trying to say it in the way of and I can't even do it, but it was just hilarious. And you start laughing straight away as soon as you start just using a different way of saying it.
Yeah, same thing with your inner voice, isn't it? If you change the sound of it, change the volume of it, change to a cartoon voice, or change it to a voice that you like. Now what's it saying? Yeah. Can you move that voice? All of these things that.
Well, so we've done that, haven't we? Just move the voice around. Just take it. If it's in your left ear, well, what's it like when it's on your right? Let's move it around to your right ear and see if it's stronger or quieter. And keep moving it around till and take it further away. Imagine it's 100 meters away or behind you.
You did that with us in one of our
we did
that with one of the chats that we had with Aidan and Linda.
Yeah.
What was that for again? I can't remember.
Well, that was just really thinking about the voice. If you have a voice speaking to you, and it doesn't even have to be a voice, it could be pain talking to you. Where's the pain coming from? Where's the voice for the pain? And then say, okay, what happens if it's in my shoulder? What happens if I move it down to my little toe? Take the voice down there. And what's that feel like now? And you can play around with that, or put it behind you, put it outside of you, get it come and sit by you, and this sort of thing. So it's all helpful. It is just playing around with the tone, with the volume, with the accent, with the direction where it's coming from, all of that stuff. And the same with ourselves, because the other thing with voice is because that whole thing of connection is so strong, is when we're with other people, we start speaking like they do, don't we?
Yeah, mimicking.
Yeah. And that
is, isn't it? It's like mirror matching, isn't it?
And we've found that certainly if you want to build rapport with somebody, then it's important that you speak in the same tone that they're speaking, use the same sort of spacing between words, try and breathe the way they're breathing, all of those things. Like even if they're shouting, then you need to match the power of what they're saying. You don't have to shout, but you have to match the power with the energy with what they're saying. And that builds rapport. So they're immediately going to feel more connected with you, even if it's an argument.
Yeah.
So there's all of that. So that story of this guy that went to, he was in the States or somewhere, he went to get a car, I think he went to get a hire car or something, and he put his car in the wrong place. And this person started shouting at him, saying, "You can't put your car there," in an American accent, which I can't do.
No, I can't.
And the guy then said, "I know, I'm sorry, I didn't realise this was your space, I'm really sorry about that." And the guy said, "Oh, it's okay, don't worry." And they were still sort of kind of shouting at each other, but they'd built a connection, and then they ended up going and having a drink together, just for a laugh, because they got on so well. So it was like this, it is just like building a connection and rapport. You can do it even in that sort of state, just by changing the way you use your voice.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
It is. Well, I mean, funny you should say that. It's like with singers and people that we listen to, the songs that we like, it might be the words that you like, it might be the melodies that you like, but we connect with different singers for different reasons. And it's so magical. I was watching, I saw something on Facebook today. One of my friends shared it, and it was a little girl. She was about 16 years old or so. And she had the voice of an angel, and she was singing, oh God, I think it was it's just gone from my head, like Dreams, I think it was. Who sings Dreams?
I don't know.
Fleetwood Mac. Oh,
right. Yeah.
She was singing, and she, I'm not joking, she was captivating. And it's everything about her voice. It was just, it was the way she phrased things, the way that she said certain words. It was just her control of her, everything about her voice was magic. And a connection. And I think that's why some people are just truly gifted, and that's how they can get their message out there, because you can't fail but to connect to people like that,
What are they doing though to do that? I mean, as a voice coach for you, they must be putting themselves into it. They must be putting their feelings into it, as well as
obviously, but also it is a gift.
Right.
I mean, some people are just have that natural God-given gift. Like, you know, you get artists that are they just paint. They just paint flipping masterpieces. And whatever way you look at it, it's incredible. You know, you give me a paintbrush, I'll paint something, but it's not going to be no masterclass, I tell you. Yeah. But it'll be my best. I can paint all my thoughts and get it all out there. I could do some squiggles, and like, to me, it will be a masterpiece. But to everyone else looking at it, be like, she's thrown up on her dinner or something, you know.
Well, yeah, but again, it's like, as long as it pleases you, then that's great, isn't it?
This is it, because it's just an extension of emotion. But when you can, when you've got that gift and you can connect, because you can connect through art, you can connect through, just through like what we do with NLP. You know, we kind of match people. When I do my sessions, I'm kind of guided. I use my subconscious mind all the time to do. I allow myself just to be directed, really, and it's never wrong. And that's the thing in life. We aren't ever wrong if we listen to ourselves and listen to what we really truly want out of life and what we want in a situation, and trust who we are, because we are incredible human beings. We know what we want. We know what we don't want as well. A lot.
It's easier to know what we don't want, isn't it? But to know what you do want is not easy to know.
And the thing is,
but you can do it, but you need to get into the subconscious to really understand what it is. And then, is it really something I want, or is it something that I don't want, that I'm trying to run away from?
Yeah,
it's actually it's a fear I'm getting away from rather than something I really want. And then it's
because we allow
cleared.
Yeah. We allow so much of what we don't want in our lives. We just do, because it makes for an easier life. But what would happen if you didn't allow that anymore, and you really truly just kind of was the master of your ship, the captain of your ship, and you kind of said, do you know what? That can just jump ship now, because I don't want it. I don't want it. Imagine how free that would be. You'd be able to steer it wherever you wanted without someone going in your head. And it's getting the strength, though. It's being able to get the strength to feel that you can do that, because it does take courage, and sometimes it does
energy. Like you say, strength is energy, isn't it? Getting that.
But it's it can be so draining to have something that's weighing you down just every day in life. And as soon as you kind of like get to that point, because we all do get to that point where we've just said, that's just enough. Like, that's enough. I don't want that anymore. And as soon as you just say that, then it's out. And then it's up to the other person or the situation that you're in. That's theirs to deal with. If they don't want that, you know you don't want that. So they can then choose whether they decide to match what you want in your life, or whether it's not right. And if that's a loss, technically a loss to you in your life, well, what you're losing? You're losing something that you want to gain. Is it a metaphor or a paradox? It's a paradox.
Well, yeah, the life's full of those, isn't it?
On a daily basis.
Yeah, and it's like, but that is life, and it's kind of like you say, it's accepting. A lot of it is just accepting things for what they are in some ways, and because you can't. There's only so much you can control, and that's very little when you work it out. I remember writing a list once of all the things, everything I can control, and everything I can't, because of being a bit of a control freak in my past, and it kind of. There was a very short list, things I can control, and it was pretty much things that I do, and even that's really hard, as we all know. And so everything else is kind of like, it's just going to happen. So it's like, well, letting go of not being able to control everything, and then accepting then a lot of the stuff that's happening, like inside of you. If you're having one of these alarms going off and a message is coming through, then accepting that and talking to it, listening to it, and see what it's about. And then freeing, once you've got all that freedom, because you have, like, just letting go of trying to control this stuff. Once you've let go of that, then you are free to put your energy into the things you really want in life.
Decluttering.
You've only got so much energy, so what are you going to spend your energy on? It's like spending money. It's a valuable resource. And what do you spend your energy on every day?
That's it.
And then sort of knowing what you want and then making sure you've got the energy to do it. Yeah, and like you say, decluttering, isn't it? It's really cluttering out your mind, freeing up your body so it can just move and just flow, and energy can just do its thing, and the body can just heal itself, and clearing your mind so you've got a bit of expanded space so you can think differently.
But it's like what Aidan's doing. He's moving to Bali. He's literally so successful, isn't he? And one of our, for anyone that's watching, one of our therapist friends, who is an incredible therapist, and he does a lot of corporate work, doesn't he? And he's very successful, and he's very brilliant as well. And he's into the Eastern therapies and stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot with the qigong and shamanism and stuff. Yeah, he's
very much into that.
Yeah, brilliant.
And
energy work. It's all about energy and flow.
Yeah. And he's literally decided to get rid of everything in his life here in England, and he's leaving his life and he's moving to Bali with his partner, and he's going to work with the shamans, isn't he? He's literally there. Did you see how different he looked as well? He just was free. He looked so relaxed and at peace.
He looked very, very peaceful. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful, envious situation to be able to just go, do you know what? We have one life. We have one life, and we have the choice of everything that we want to do ultimately in our lives. So what is it that you really, truly flipping want? And once you know that, if you want to let it all go, but I don't mean like running away from stuff, because that isn't what it's about, because everything that is sent to us is a challenge that we will get through and we will learn from, and it's how we deal with situations. It's not about running away. This is about becoming internally who we want to be while we're on this planet. What makes us spark? What makes us come alive? And it's following your flow, becoming the flow, and just going where your heart says, and just going, because it's not all about millions of pounds, and it's not all about wealth. And wealth is your health, is your wealth, right? That's what it is. So it's going, what's important, what's really truly important for me.
And I think that's a voice, isn't it? There is always a little nagging voice there somewhere telling you what it is. Yeah, because it is there subconsciously. You know. I mean, we all have basic needs in life that everybody needs, and then on top of that, there's this thing: how do I want to express myself in this world? To what do I want to be? How do I want to live? Like we say, the three things that people think at the end of life are: did I live? Did I love? Did I matter?
Oh, how
and those three things, and like looking into that and seeing, do I, don't wait until the end of life to ask those questions. Now, am I living? Am I loving? Am I mattering? Am I doing what's right for me? What matters for me? And if not, then how do I get closer to that? It's not throwing everything out and maybe moving across the world. I did that. I headed to France and moved to France, but that was like it was just a spur of the moment thing, but just did it because it seemed right at the time. It just felt right, and I can't, just threw in my job, sold the house.
It's the same thing as I did.
Yeah, we just came, but it wasn't like. I mean, I just wanted a bit of adventure. It was about time, and it was kind of like midlife crisis thing going on too, but because I was just turned 40 at the time, but it felt right. It's something I'd always wanted to do. I always wanted, for some reason, to go and live in another country and speak another language. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but I'd always wanted it. So I thought, I don't want to leave it too long, and then the reality hits home. Is like, speaking another language is bloody hard to learn another language and to express yourself in a different language. And I'm still not great now. I've been here 15 years, but
you speak better than me.
Well, yeah, but it's still hard to do. It's still hard to express yourself in a foreign language. So I hadn't really thought about that. I thought, I'll be here 2 years and I'll be able to speak speak fluently, because I'll just be here. I'll kind of osmosis will just happen and I'll just absorb it. But that's another way, you know, expressing yourself is interesting, because it's like when we speak to people in French, you're like a different person. And when people speak to us, like when I hear someone speaking French to me, I see them in a certain way. And yet if they switch to English, I see them in another way. I experience them differently because they're speaking a different language. So that's another voice thing, isn't it? That whole...
That's interesting. Is it the tonality? Is it how they're phrasing it? Is it the connection? Is it that they don't speak it naturally?
I think when they're speaking my native language, English, I kind of connect with them in a different way, maybe in a deeper way, because it's my native language. So when they're speaking French, it's kind of a bit more outside of myself.
Yeah, I understand.
A bit more disconnected. And so that's weird.
The other thing that's really powerful, actually, just thinking about that now, about voice, is that we have to breathe to use our voices. Because if we don't have breath, we can't speak. And so, especially when you're teaching singing, it was something that you said as well. I think it was what you said the other day. Was it that you breathe through your nose? Yes. For the oxygen in the brain. But when we sing, we'll talk about that in a second, but when we breathe when we're singing, you have to breathe through the diaphragm, because the diaphragm is where your muscle is, that, you know, gives you a full lung full of air. And that is your air is your voice, you know. And when we're focusing on getting into the now state or hypnosis or whatever it is that we're looking at doing, you concentrate on your breath, and your breath is your voice, and your voice is your breath. And it's kind of like, it's just a big cycle. But so for singers, we use the diaphragm, but you say what you were saying. It was about breathing.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast on the breath. There's a guy called James something or other, I can't remember, but we can put it in the links. He's just written a book on breathing, because it's called Breath. And it's all about how the way we breathe. If you breathe through your nose, is a very different experience for your body to breathing through your mouth. Breathing through your mouth tells you you're stressed, basically. And so you want to relax, you really need to breathe properly through your nose, in and out, because when you breathe through your mouth, you don't get the same, the breath isn't treated in the same way. Breathing through your nose, it actually mixes with another gas in your nose and pre-warms it and does everything it needs to do to expand your lungs maximally. So you get the most oxygen when you breathe through your nose. If you breathe through your mouth, even though it feels like you're breathing more air in, you're actually getting less usable oxygen, because your lungs don't expand enough, because there's, I think it's nitrous oxide that mixes through in your nose. Somehow the body creates nitrous oxide, and as you breathe in, it mixes with it, and that helps the lungs open up to accept the oxygen when it comes in. So when you breathe through your mouth, you're not doing that. So your lungs are immediately more constricted when you breathe. And so breathing through your nose is far better for that. It also warms the air, makes it more comfortable for the lungs. And so you get more
and filters oxygen out as well. It filters out any...
Absolutely, yeah. So it's protective. So we're not meant to breathe through our mouths unless we're really, really, really stressed. Like you get, when you're stressed, sometimes you do mouth breathe.
Yeah, of course.
Or if you're, running hard or something, running away from the bear or whatever it is, but otherwise, nose breathing. And they're now sort of marathon runners and that are being taught now to breathe through their nose all the way through the mouth. Just don't, if you breathe through your mouth, you're not getting the maximum amount of oxygen to your body, and your brain especially needs lots and lots of oxygen. And so at night, when you're sleeping, the other thing is making sure that you're nose breathing, not mouth breathing. And most people wake up in the night, because I used to sleep forever with a dusty glass of water by my bed in the morning. It would be dusty, you know what it's like. But I'd have water by the bed because I'd wake up in the night thirsty. And that was because I was breathing through my mouth. And so now I do what they do now. And it's the way of training your mouth. And you put a little bit of tape on your mouth when you go to sleep, and it keeps your lips together. You can still talk. There's only a little bit like that. Just a little bit, that white non-allergic tape,
Yeah,
tiny little strip, and just hold your lips together. And I sleep completely through the night now. I don't wake up thirsty in the night. And I feel more energized in the morning because of it.
That's flipping interesting.
I know it is. And so kids that grew up mouth breathing, because I did for my first 20 years of my life, I breathed through my mouth. I didn't realize you could breathe through your nose. I didn't realize people did that. I didn't know. My nose was always blocked because I have quite a small nose, and the channels in my nose were very small and narrow. And I think also because I think I have a real problem with dairy products, and then of course milk every morning with your cereal and stuff. And I grew up on cow's milk because I was adopted at birth, so I didn't have mother's milk, and so I was always having dairy, and I think that just gave me an allergic reaction to it. And so now and I worked out that dairy was a problem. It's causing my sinuses to be blocked up. As soon as I cut out dairy, my sinuses cleared. I could breathe properly through my nose. And I also had an operation to make my nasal passage wider.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
Yeah, so they widened the nasal passages and drilled some holes into my sinuses to make them drain properly. And once I got rid of the inflammation from the dairy, I could take a deep breath through my nose for the first time in my life. I thought, wow, this was such a thing for me. You can actually breathe through your nose. I didn't realize people did that. I always breathe through my mouth. So, amazing. And that had obviously a big effect on me. It affects the way your system is stressed all the time, because your body thinks it's stressed. I must be stressed because I'm breathing. Interesting. It's like I must be angry because I'm shouting. It's that same kind of thing. Cool. It's your body thinks it. So that becomes your reality. And it was normal for me. I thought that's all there was.
Do you know, the thing is as well, what I do with my pupils, or with if someone's really stressed or anxious, the first thing that goes is their breathing. Panic attacks. If you look at a panic attack, it's a physical, debilitating condition, and your body just breaks down and your breathing goes. As soon as you can just focus in on that breath and take control of that breath again, it frees up your body so it doesn't think it's in fight or flight mode, and it literally just resets. And like before an audition, or before you do something on stage, or if you're getting those panicky feelings, or even if you're having a panic attack, obviously I teach the now state, which is incredibly powerful. But if you're having to do something very quickly, it's quite handy. Like I always say, hold your breath. Make sure you're lying down, but like in case you go dizzy, but hold your breath for as long as you can possibly hold it. Literally take the biggest breath in and hold it as long as you possibly can. You can't hold it anymore. And then when you release, very slowly, release that breath very slowly. And what that does is it just resets your whole breathing, and you'll get a wave of calm flooding through your body, and it's so powerful, and you feel physiologically different, and that's a really powerful, quick technique that you can use anywhere, and I always teach people that because I think it's really powerful. Obviously, the now state, if you can feel that panic attack coming on and it's before it happens, you can start noticing it, saying, look, I know you're there. I'm going to listen to what you're saying. It's absolutely fine, but I'm in control. And you're looking at the spot, and you're starting to do the now state, and you're taking everything in and slowly coming into the present. So you can deal with things from the state of now, rather than inviting in anything that's causing you to panic. What if this happens, or anything that has happened? You are present, you are calm, you're in that state that you can deal with things. And your breath is so powerful. So breath and voice is hand in hand. Because I always, as well, I teach if you haven't got enough air in you, like literally, if you're going to sing a song and you've got no air and you don't take enough air in, listen to me, I'm going to run out of breath. You can't speak. You can't do it. So you have to have enough air, phrasing wise, and to be able to control it. That's what it's all about. Your breath is your life. That's who you are.
Well, as to say, I mean, word breath, like inspiration is breathing in, it's inspire, expire, inspire, and then that comes from the word spirit. So life, breath is life. I like
that.
And so it all comes from that, and everything in our words are just ways of expressing that spirit that is us.
And that matches so beautifully with the world of words that we live in, because we're using our voice to dictate who we are and our world around us. And so by using negative words, you're literally creating a world of negativity, which you're attracting more. Whereas if you reframe what you're saying and you look through a different perspective onto a situation, and make it into a positive context, you're inviting in more positivity, and your whole world just changes in light of that. It's very powerful. Words. Oh, I love words. I love lyrics. I love poetry. I love flowers. I just love life. I flipping love life. And also what also makes it very poignant for me is because about 2 years ago, I gave up smoking and I started vaping. And I'd smoked for 20, 30 years or whatever it was, because obviously I'm 21, of course. And I went on to vaping because it was meant to be better for you. So I vaped for 3 months. And one day I started vaping and I realized that my throat was closing up, but I could breathe through my nose and that was all right. So I thought, oh, it just must be my thyroid. I put it down to my thyroid. That's what I put it down to. Okay. So later on in that day, I did it again and I vaped and my throat closed up again, but I wasn't panicking because I thought, no, I can breathe through my nose. It's fine. So I did that and was relaxed, I was okay. That evening, I had a vape, breathed it in, tried to breathe it in and everything stopped. My throat closed up and my nose closed up. Because I suddenly thought to myself, oh no, I can breathe through my nose. I went to breathe through my nose and my nose wasn't working. My mouth wasn't working. My throat wasn't working. Everything stopped. And my son was in the room and Tiki, my dog, was in the room, right? And I'm sitting on the chair, just having this vape and I'm going. And I thought, this is it. I literally, everything stopped. And instead of panicking, there was nothing I could do about it. I was obviously in panic mode because obviously I'd had an allergic reaction. That's what happened. And now I have an EpiPen. Happy days. So when they say vaping is okay, take it from me. 3 months tells you not. But, well, not for me anyway. So, our bodies react differently to different things. But for me, thankfully, after about 20 seconds of not breathing, not being able to take a breath, it released. And I threw the vapes away and I never touched the things ever again in my life. And I went to the doctor and he said to me, you are so lucky, because he goes, most people that happens to, it's game over, literally, because it doesn't release. So my body was warned me twice that day, but the third time, and I hadn't listened to it. And the third time it really told me.
Yeah.
And I listened.
Yeah.
But that's another message, right? It's another message. My body telling me, don't flip and do this because it's no good for you. And I just ignored it.
There's another part of you saying, keep doing it as well, isn't there? So you've got these two parts.
It's meant to be okay.
Yeah.
I was told by the doctors, don't smoke, you have to vape instead of smoking. So of course, I'm listening to them. Should have listened to myself. But I did in the end. So yeah. So your body
makes you just tell you, doesn't it? You've got to you listen. It's like, but it's also hard, isn't it? You get the message and yet it's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. This is my comfortable life. I don't want to change.
Change is uncomfortable.
But you've got this little voice saying, even doesn't matter how uncomfortable it is. Even sometimes our life can be very uncomfortable, but it's kind of comfortable anyway. Yeah. And changing it seems even more uncomfortable than the uncomfortable life we have. And so better to just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And yet on the other side of that, just that getting over that little hump of, I'm going to feel this discomfort and see where it goes. Then over this other side is like this whole field of possibility, freedom, anything's possible.
Isn't
that? Once you get out of that box, out of those labels and like you say, part of it's listening and taking a bit of action.
Listening is so important. Yeah. Listening to that voice. I think maybe, we've been chatting for 45 minutes and it flies with you.
Right? It does. Yeah,
it does. Really,
yeah.
Blessed. But I thought maybe we could do just maybe a little meditation. Like, you're too good at it, so you're doing it. I love listening to you as well. But maybe like anyone that's maybe experiencing some pain somewhere, or maybe experiencing a blockage in their life, we could maybe just do a little meditation that could guide them to their voice. And Kate, would you do that?
Yeah, sure.
Just to the last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, just to finish it off, because I think that would be really powerful for people, just to know how to do that. And you do it too well.
Okay, well, we'll go inside and just listen to the voice that is us and see what happens.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, all right, so just get yourself comfortable then.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you've got feet on the floor.
Yeah,
so just feeling your feet on the floor, just being aware of that, and just let your eyes close if that helps you to just sort of visualize what's happening. Just feel your feet on the floor, and then your body on the chair if you sat down, and then just checking in with your breathing now. Just noticing your breathing, however it is, not trying to change it in any way, but just noticing your breathing. Just following the breath in from your nostrils, and kind of notice at the nostrils, it's kind of cooler as you breathe in and then warmer when you breathe out. So just notice that feeling at the nostrils as you're breathing now. And then just noticing your chest expanding and contracting as you're breathing. Maybe following the breath down through your throat and noticing the feeling of the breath in your throat, and then down to your chest as it expands and contracts. Like a big umbrella opening and closing. Because it's not just the front of our chest that expands and contracts, but our back goes in and out as well. Sort of notice that feeling. And then go down a bit further into your belly and just noticing that. Just really let the belly go, because we're all taught we've got to hold our bellies in, so our bellies are always tight. So just really let the belly flop out, just let it just go and flop, so that you can take a nice deep belly breath. If you ever watched a baby breathing, their bellies go in and out, and yet as we get older, we tend to forget how to do that properly. And then just taking every breath now as you breathe in, just noticing the air coming in, and just imagine it sort of going around your lungs and around your whole body. So every part of your body now is getting that oxygen now. And as you're breathing out, just use that as an opportunity now to just doubly relax all the muscles in your body. So every breath out, just doubly relax. I'm taking special notice now of your neck, back of your neck, and your jaw. Just how relaxed is that right now? And just doubly relax that. And your shoulders, let them drop. Let any burden on your shoulders, let that just slip off as your shoulders just droop and relax. It all becomes slippery now, and everything just brushes off the sides. No burden there now. So your jaw and your neck and your throat and your shoulders nicely relaxed. And as you relax your shoulders, you can notice maybe the muscles in your spine and letting them go more now too. So your back relaxes more. And just feeling your body now, and just taking notice now, and just turning your... There's my cat come to say hello. Hello, Sydney. Hello, Sydney.
She's relaxed.
Yeah, you have to relax too.
She's speaking with her voice.
Listen, yes, Sydney's... It's a Sid. Sydney is a he. Hello, Sydney.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. So just focus now, turning your attention now more deeply inside, and just say hello inside to the part that feels mostly you, where you feel the sense of you strongest. Just say hello to you. Say hello inside. Just the place where you sense yourself most strongly now. And just listen now. Just listen. Is there anything that this part of you wants to say? Just notice the state of this part. Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it tired? Is it frustrated? Whatever it is, just let it be as it is. Maybe you could just say to yourself now, you could imagine maybe you're sitting on a park bench. And next to you is like a big space on this bench. And my cat is now playing with my keyboard. So.
It can play. It's allowed.
Hey, darling. So you imagine you're sitting in this park and you've got this bench. It's all yours, this bench. And you're sat on one side. On the other side is just a blank space, an empty space on the bench. And as you tune into this place that's you, who sat there on the bench, and you're tuning into this place that is just you now, just ask yourself, what's between me and feeling fine right now? And anything that comes up, just put it on the bench. Just let it come out. And you may or may not know what it is, and that doesn't matter. That's fine. That's okay. Your subconscious mind already knows. And just sit it there on the bench. And then just ask again, what else is between me and feeling fine right now? And you may get a sense of something or not, but whatever it is, just put it on the bench. And ask again, what else is between me and feeling fine right now? And just put it on the bench. And just keep asking that question. And just piling things up one on top of the other or side by the side of each other. However your mind likes to put these things, just arrange them on the bench to the side of you. Just putting them outside. And just keep doing that until you get a sense of kind of the space opens up. And that now there's more space just for feeling fine now. Because all these things just get put out on the bench. And so Danielle, just tell me when you have a sense that everything is out there.
Everything is. It's so powerful, so visual.
Mm. And so what is the sense inside now in that place that is you?
Peace, very peaceful.
Mm. And is there anything that it wants to say, this piece?
Thank you.
Mm. And does it have any message for you today? Just to guide you, maybe some advice it'd like to give you just for the day.
Just focus on happiness. Okay.
Lovely. Just focus on happiness. And then we could say, for all this stuff that's out on the bench now to the side of us, you can ask yourself now, could I just leave that there and walk away? Could I? Is it possible for me to do that? I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying, could you do it if you wanted?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you could, couldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So the next question is, well, would I? Would I? If I could, would I? Would I just walk away and leave this behind, this burden, stuff I was carrying around that was hiding all that peace and happiness inside. So would I?
Always.
Always. So the final question then we always ask is, when?
Right now.
Right now. So just imagine yourself getting up and walking up into the park, beautiful park. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. The sun's shining, the sky's blue and the grass is green. There's a beautiful lake with ducks there and they're all happily quacking in the distance. And people walking their dogs and everyone's just in a happy mood. And that bench is just getting further and further away with all that stuff on it until you can't see it anymore. And it kind of, and all that stuff, then there's a beautiful shower of rain, refreshing rain. It just washes all that away into the ground, into the grass. And all that old crap that you've left behind is now fertilizer for the grass. And that's all left, gone, and being used for a better purpose now. You just notice you have more spring in your step now as you're walking through the park, enjoying the trees and the birds singing, just happy to be alive. All this space inside and this peace. And now just coming back to a little bit more awareness now of yourself in the room where you are. Your feet on the floor and your body on the chair, your clothes against your skin. The sounds in the room around you. Your breath against your nose, the temperature of your breath in and out. The tastes in your mouth. And then just whenever you're ready, just open your eyes and come back to now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was nice. Enjoyed that.
Oh, it was beautiful.
My eyes are always watering.
Oh, that was lovely. I'm all relaxed.
Great.
Oh, and it's now almost bang on 12 o'clock, Kate. Oh, this nice relaxed version of me is going to say thank you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
And I hope anyone that's watching this, if anyone that's watching this, I hope you did it as well, because everybody goes through life on a daily basis, just getting on with it. And isn't it nice just to stop for 15 minutes and just to let it all go and just to be?
Yeah, and just to listen inside and, what is happening inside right now? And knowing that's, you can change that.
Yeah. Everyone needs a Kate. Everyone needs a Kate in their pocket.
Well, you've all got yourselves, and you know what's right for you. You already know.
Yeah.
When we work with people, we're just helping them see that for themselves, aren't we? That's all we're doing.
Of course.
They have the power. They're driving. They're in charge. They're the driver, not us.
It's like being going to a spa for a day, isn't it? Like you can help everyone else, and then just until you take time for yourself, and you kind of like just feel refreshed. Oh, it's lovely. Hey, thank you, darling. For anyone that's watching this, I hope you've really got value out of it, because I flipping have. Oh, I'm all relaxed now, so I'm gonna wakey. And have a beautiful Friday. I'm gonna put Kate's details and obviously my details in the description, so if you need to contact us for anything, the magic that is, just contact us. Anything that we can help you with, we are always here to help. And just focus on happiness. I think that is probably a good message for today, right?
Yeah, well, just listen, whatever it is, listen to it. And even if it's not happy, listen to it anyway and just find out what the message is. Don't ignore it. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah, use your voice wisely. Right. Everyone, have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see you all tomorrow for a motivational minute. Bye from us.
Bye.
Just stop this live stream.